You may believe you are tasting the original flavor of food. A piece of meat tastes like meat. A bowl of soup tastes like soup. Taste seems objective.
Wow, that is incredibly good.
Like a biological pH meter sitting inside your mouth. In
purity
reality,
is exceptional,
your
Doctor.
gustatory
Yes,
nervous system
we've
is
finally
constantly being
isolated the core
recalibrated.
flavor.
Not by sugar, not by salt, but by a molecule with a very specific structure, glutamate. Monosodium glutamate does not add a new layer of flavor, the way pepper changes a steak. It changes how your tongue processes information at just a few hundred milligrams, less than half a gram.
The pepper
Lighter
is
than
fine,
a
but a
single
little
cold
dull.
tablet. It can make food
The
taste
MSG really
richer
brings out the
without
umami.
increasing the amount of food itself. So, what is it in its chemical structure that makes the nervous system respond so strongly? The answer is not found in food advertising. It is found in molecular shape. Glutamate is an amino acid, meaning it contains both an amino group and carboxyl groups in its structure. At neutral pH, these functional groups carry negative charges, allowing glutamate to interact with receptor proteins on the tongue. The primary umami receptor consists of a protein pair called T1R1 and T1R3, embedded in the membranes of taste cells. When glutamate approaches, it does not collide randomly. It fits into a binding site with complementary geometry, like a key precisely cut for a lock. This fit triggers a conformational change in the protein, initiating a chain of electrical signals that travel to the brain. The process unfolds in milliseconds. A millisecond is 1,000th of a second, roughly 300 times faster than a blink. That speed allows the brain to integrate the umami signal with aroma from the nose and temperature sensations from the tongue into a single overall impression of deliciousness. Importantly, glutamate does not act alone. When combined with nucleotides, such as inosinate in meat or guanylate in mushrooms, the umami effect increases dramatically. When two molecules bind simultaneously to the receptor, the signal becomes far stronger than the effect of either molecule on its own. Taste is not replaced here. It is amplified. MSG appears as white crystals that dissolve easily in water. Once dissolved, it separates into sodium ions and glutamate ions. Sodium contributes to saltiness, but the umami effect comes from the free glutamate ion. During cooking, high heat can break down proteins in food, releasing natural glutamate. This happens in bone broth simmered for hours, where collagen and other proteins are broken into amino acids. MSG simply provides glutamate in a ready-to-use form, bypassing the long breakdown process. In that sense, it is like installing a software update for a dish. It does not change the hardware, the ingredients, but adjusts how the nervous system interprets taste signals. A concentration of about 0.3% of a dish's weight,
bind to specific
or
receptors
roughly
on the
3
taste
grams
bud,
per
triggering
kilogram
the
of
electrical
food,
signal that the brain
is enough to
interprets
create
as
a
salty
noticeable
taste.
difference. What is especially important is that natural glutamate and the glutamate in MSG are identical at the molecular level. There is no difference in spatial geometry or electrical charge. The tongue has no mechanism for distinguishing industrial origin from natural origin. It responds only to chemical structure. From this perspective, the idea of being tricked becomes more complex. If the molecules are identical, then what changes is not chemistry, but interpretation. The ability to detect umami is not accidental. In evolutionary environments, protein was a critical nutrient. Recognizing glutamate-rich foods helped our ancestors prioritize energy sources necessary for muscle growth and nervous system development. Glutamic acid is one of the most common amino acids in proteins. When food is cooked or fermented, proteins break down and release free glutamate, signaling that nutrients are available for absorption. The brain learned to associate that signal with nutritional value. This explains why traditional foods around the world, from fermented fish sauce in Southeast Asia to aged cheeses in Europe, are naturally rich in glutamate.
This lock and key mechanism
laboratory
ensures
designed
that the
those
tongue
techniques.
receptors only respond
They
to
emerged
specific
through
molecular
generations of
shapes,
experimentation
initiating
and
the taste
natural
signal.
selection. When MSG appeared in the 20th century, it did not create a new mechanism. It tapped into one that already existed. Its impact, therefore, lies not in deceiving the tongue, but in activating a system already optimized to recognize protein. The difference between natural and synthesized forms here is about production, not structure. Just as vitamin C in an orange and synthetic vitamin C are both ascorbic acid, glutamate remains glutamate regardless of its source. Once you understand that, the story shifts. The issue is no longer a white crystalline grain, but how we respond to chemical names that sound complex. The next time you read MSG on a food label, you may remember the molecular structure fitting precisely into receptors on your tongue. The story of flavor is ultimately a story about shape, charge, and neural signaling. And if you would like to keep exploring the hidden software inside modern kitchens, many other molecules are waiting to be examined under the microscope.